My name is Josh Pulsifer. I am a graphic design teacher here at Thornton Academy, and I'm also an assistant coach for the varsity football team. I had an interest in graphic design through my years here at TA as a student. I graduated from TA in 2006, and we didn't have a full graphic design program here then, but as I began the college process really in my junior year, I could tell that looking at all the schools around the area and really into what my interests were as a professional going forward, that graphic design really fit what I wanted to do. So that's really kind of where that all started. I think one of the biggest highlights, kind of a couple of them, from an athletic standpoint, winning our first state championship as a football coach in 2012 was obviously a huge achievement for me personally. I played football here at TA, and we didn't have a lot of success, unfortunately, during my years. So being able to, get to the top of Maine high school football was a huge achievement for me personally and athletically. And then from a teaching standpoint in academics, I enjoy working on the yearbook. I'm the yearbook advisor with Mr. Christianberry, and producing books that win regional awards has always been, really fun experience, and because it gives some validation to the work that you do throughout the year, so that's always really fun too. For coaching here at TA, obviously it's great to have experience, maybe even playing. I had a pretty good relationship with the coaches here when I played. Did things the right way, practiced hard, always in the weight room, and so when I ended up coming back here to teach in 2010. I didn't coach my first year here because I kind of came in the middle of the year, but I talked to Mr. Kiesel, who's our head coach, and really, said, I want to be involved in some way, shape, or form, what could I do? And he said, well, you could, start maybe a little bit lower, like on the freshman, and learn it all, or you could jump right into varsity. He goes, we got a spot either way. And so I took the hard way and wanted to start with varsity, and I really enjoyed my 5 years coaching, and wouldn't want to do anything else with my time in the fall. The appeal to me of working at TA, especially after being a student here, was really the autonomy that teachers are allowed here. We have one of the most diversified programs, academically speaking, not only in the state, but probably I would feel fair to say around New England. Good? Yeah, so what got me interested was, I could develop a program. I was able to, really create the graphic design program here. There was no graphic design program. We had little bits and pieces of it, but when I came here, one of the things they asked me in my interview was like, what would you do with a program like that? Like, how would you develop it? And after going through kind of the classes I thought we could teach and, what are some goals of them, they're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. When can you sign? So, so that's kind of what started that. And it's just fun because at TA we have some teachers that have a lot of professional real-world experience in the fields that they teach, and so I think that's invaluable, and I hope students kind of appreciate that and can hopefully learn some skills based off of that. I think one thing that's really important when you think about the the makeup of a football roster is that there are a lot of players. If you're lucky, if a program's lucky, thankfully Thornton Academy has been really lucky with a large number of players. There's a lot of teams throughout Maine that struggle to get players to play. There's certainly several schools, even last year, that had to shut down football in the middle of the year, or the end of the year, because they simply didn't have enough players to field a team safely. So we're not in those type of situations here yet, hopefully. But in terms of players playing and kind of where they are, every member is important. Like I said, if we had a bunch of people who said, geez, I don't know if I'm going to start, so I don't want to play. If everyone had that mentality, we wouldn't have a team. You might only have 20 players that play on a team, and then we can't field a team, and then you're in that situation like those other schools. So I think one thing that's always good is to have the mentality of kind of next man up. You never know when your time's going to come. There was a football player in the NFL who just retired last week because he suffered a neck injury, and certainly he was in the prime of his career and didn't think that was ever going to happen to him, and then just like that, it was over. Certainly we're not hoping injuries for anyone, but if someone does get hurt, those next people do have to have that mentality of, I'm the starter, I got to go out there and do my job, and that's where that depth really comes in. And I certainly think over the past 3-4 years, we've always been very successful winning. We wouldn't have won any of those titles if we didn't have the depth that we enjoy and had those players with those right mindsets.